Color guard attention. Color guard forward march. Troop salute. Color guard halt. Color guard prepare to post the colors. Post the colors. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Two. Please join
I'm
me.
getting a little scared thinking it was a really tough audience. So first of all, I wanted to thank all of you for inviting me here today for this special honor of the accomplishments of the Court of Honor. Today we celebrate the incredible milestones these young men have achieved becoming Eagle Scouts. Achieving the rank of Eagle Scout is more than just earning a badge. It represents a journey of personal growth, dedication, and leadership. When I walked in here today, I was greeted by one of your Eagle Scouts who had mentioned to me that I think it was over 8 years ago that they brought the flag in for one of our council meetings. And it makes me feel that I've been here for quite some time when I hear these things, but at the same time, fills me with gratitude knowing that these young men have been in our community for so long. The real way to gain happiness is to give it to others. Keep pursuing your goal. Happiness always follows. My husband is a proud two-palm Eagle Scout, a member of the Order of the Arrow, and proudly displays his National Eagle Scout membership and medal with pride, as I'm sure all of you will. To the Scout Masters,
we invite everybody to take pictures, particularly parents, of these things, so don't be shy about coming up and taking a picture.
All over your lives. Thank you so much.
All right, so I don't know that I can top what has been said already, but my reflections on working with Zach and Ameer are very favorable. I won't share the problem stuff. But I recall the initial meeting with both of them, and the Eagle Advisors, we generally keep them to having 2 scouts at a time because we have lives outside of scouting as well. And I was assigned Ameer and Zach right around the same time. And I think they coordinated with each other to make sure that we did things at the same time, because it seemed like the projects progressed lockstep, by what they were doing. But when we had that initial meeting, we look at their age, and if they're 15, 16, 17, it gives us a gauge as to how long before their 18th birthday, right? So Ameer and Zach, they checked out, they had plenty of time. And so that's something that I'm never going to say to the scouts again, that they have plenty of time. Because that means it sits and sits. But when you initially meet with them, and because of the pandemic, we've kind of gotten into the Zoom meeting stuff, which I don't really like, but you're telling them, okay, here's what's required of you, here's some resources, you need to find a project. And a lot of things in scouting for the ranks, there's things to check off, boxes to meet. With the Eagle Project, you gotta kind of find a project, right? And it has to meet the requirements of planning, development, and leadership. And I think initially, Ameer was like, I'm not really sure what to do. Zach's like, I'm not sure what to do. But eventually they found a project. Zach did a storage compartments in the storage table for the Center Moon Valley Band High School. And then Ameer was a little bit more interesting because Ameer found a beneficiary out in Hayward. It was a Muslim school that I believe it's grades, I forget the grades, but middle school. And he came to me and he says, I have a project. And I'm like, all right, let's talk about it. And we did. And so let's write up the proposal. So he does. Then weeks go by and he says, well, the beneficiary has decided that somebody else is gonna do that project. So he said, okay, well, let's find another project. Same beneficiary, he does. Same thing, we did the proposal. And that's a lot of paperwork, so it's not, there's a lot of stuff that goes in before they can get to the project. And again, the beneficiary kind of folded on him. And I was like, maybe you want to try to find a different beneficiary. And he was committed to this school. So eventually, he proposed a retaining wall, sitting wall around a tree. It was pretty substantial. It was, I think, kind of an engineering project. But that was approved, and so that was the project that he did. During the project, both Ameer and Zach, they encountered problems, things that they didn't think when they were putting it on paper, that didn't necessarily work out the way they thought. I believe Zach changed some of the storage cabinets to tables, and those tables were really big. And he had the foresight to think, I need to build those at my house, but then construct them at the school in the final stages because it wouldn't fit through the door. For Ameer, there was a concrete or asphalt. Where he needed to put his wall, there was asphalt that needed to be broken out. And I don't think he was quite sure how he was gonna do that. And I think his dad knew how to do it, and I knew how to do it, but the whole point is Ameer needed to figure out how to do it, and he did. It took him probably 3 days to figure it out, but he eventually was able to get it figured out and finish the project after about a month. But both Zach and Ameer demonstrated the type of leadership that you want to see in an Eagle Scout, and the problem solving. It's all boy led, so that's why we're here as advisors to kind of guide them, but not to tell them, right? So it's just a great accomplishment. I'm proud to have been part of your journey. One of the things they do as part of the final paperwork, they have the scouts, all of them, have to get letters of recommendation from the community, whether it be their parents, their school, their work, their religious institution. And those letters, they don't see them, they're sent directly to the advisor, and then the advisor sends them to the council. So they don't know what's in those letters. I mean, it could be really good or it could be hopefully not bad. But I was able to read all of the letters for Zach and Ameer, and the positive things that the community has said about them speaks volumes about their character. And why they stand in front of you today as Eagle Scouts. So again, I'm proud and honored to have been part of your journey during the rank of Eagle. Congratulations, guys.
I'm sure you're going to hear this from all of us, but scouting was probably one of the most formative things I could have possibly done. I became in Cub Scouts, and I have so many good memories with the people around me. I still remember working with my dad at Pinewood Derby competitions. We would work through my first engineering challenges ever, or even the cake bake competitions, where I started to really love baking and cooking. In Boy Scouts, things became much more real. The goal throughout every meeting, event, camp out, requirement, and merit badge was always to learn, grow, and strive to be the best you can. This lesson still lives in me in everything I do, whether it be my faith, my relationships, my school, and sports. There are a few memorable things that I feel really shaped me. First thing is something a little bit silly. Camp Wente was my first summer camp, and I was taking canoeing merit badge with Brandy. After a long day on the lake, I dropped a canoe on my foot, without any shoes. It was bloody and disgusting for the rest of the week, but I'm really glad I stuck it out, even if it meant getting wheelbarrowed around by some older scouts. As Mr. Noel likes to put it, I got bit by a canoe shark that camp out. Becoming SPL is where I really learned to lead. I had to plan, communicate, manage my time, and I still remember my mental breakdown at High Sierra. But that moment taught me to delegate, and rely on my peers. Thank you for Mr. Albright for helping me through that time. Finally, everything came together during my Eagle project. It was stressful, but one of the most satisfying things I've done. I learned to problem solve, adapt, and see a project through. There were a lot of people that were really important to my journey, but here are a few I'd like to thank. First off, Mr. Albright and Mr. Goldstein, some of the Scoutmasters that guided me in becoming a good leader. Next, Mr. Phillips, thank you for guiding me through my project, and thank you for your patience. I'm sorry for raising your blood pressure consistently. Thank you to all my volunteers and friends. I couldn't have done it with all your hard labor of breaking concrete and lugging bricks. I'm sorry about your back, Yahweh. Thank you to my patrolmates. I couldn't be more glad to have the 5 of you through my journey. And like Randy said, thank you for being there for the last 12 years. Finally, thank you to my parents. Papa, who kept pushing me. I'm glad to have been a scout to make you proud. And Mama, who stayed with me through everything, every tiny bit of my scouting journey, and genuinely just being the reason that this happened for me. Thank you everyone for coming.
We would add the same one for one nugget.
Maybe not. Really?
I reaffirm my allegiance to the 3 promises of the Scout Oath. I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself the obligations and responsibilities of an Eagle Scout. On my honor, I will do my best. To make my training and example. My rank and my influence. Count strongly for better scouting. And for better citizenship. In my troop. In my community. And in my contacts with other people. To this, I pledge my sacred honor. Now, time down. Thank you very much. You've all just finished the Eagle Scout promise.
6 or more years ago, most of these scouts traded their Weeblo scarf for Troop 815 scarves when they transitioned from Cub Scouts to Boy Scouts. The parents were a big part of that.
He was this big, this big. I said, Hermie, baby, what happened? Duh, I ate my dad, sitting on fence post, chewing my bubble gum, playing with my yo-yo, woo, woo. And along came Hermie the worm. He was this big, this big. I said, Hermie, baby, what happened? I ate my grandparents. Sitting on fence post, chewing my bubble, playing with my yo-yo, woo, woo. And along came Hermie the worm. He was this big, this big. I said, Hermie, baby, what happened? Duh, I burped.